What's going on, people? So, what was it? Back in February, I thought to myself, you know what? I just finished doing all these reviews and stuff. That means I got a lot of stuff that I have not worn. So maybe I should set aside a month and do that, right? But I couldn't do it in March because that was Air Max month. So I did it in April, right? But I had a lot of things still on my mind at the end of the month. So I'm like, I guess maybe I'll just extend this on through May, right? So that's what happened. I spent another month wearing all new shoes, right? Because I get that some people like to have their shoes in this pristine condition forever, I guess. I just can't side with you on that. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So I wear the things that I buy and then I talk about them sometimes a little bit more in depth after that has happened. And so that's kind of what we're doing here. I'm going to go through these and it's probably going to take a while because there's a lot of stuff here to my left. So I'm just going to go jump on into it. And I guess that means that if you're one of those people that likes to catch these lives or whatever, you got a pretty good chance because this is not going to be done in the next 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and knock this thing out. Now, these are in order, like from week to week. So I guess there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in June. The first week was kind of split between May and April, not June. So this would have been a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday situation this time around, right? After that, it's full weeks, right? Yeah, yeah, I think so. Maybe I don't know. Actually, no, there was a holiday in May, so that's why those two are short. Either way, week one, let's go ahead and knock this out, right? Started things off. There you go, side of the box and whatnot. Don't expect to see a whole lot of that because I want to get through this relatively quickly, and that just slows me down. But we'll see. We'll see what I do. I'm not in a hurry, but I do have other stuff to record after this. So, it's one of those situations. This right here is a New Balance 920, made in the UK one, right? See that? Got the whole made in England thing up there. These things are freaking nice, man. Like, the price isn't always great. They also come with these extra laces. The price isn't always great because, the whole made in UK thing, right? But they're super comfortable down here. And the upper piece, like these materials are really nice. So it gives you that all around comfort. It's kind of like one of those 350 compacts, which is not in the lineup. Apparently, there's only one 350 that came out last month. So usually I have a couple more in the mix, but whatever. The 920, right? I can't speak on how it compares to a lot of other New Balance things because I really just don't know. I don't have a whole lot of New Balance variety over here, right? And the ones that I do have, I wear every several months, like once a year, basically, right? Because I try to keep the rotation going. That's one of the things that I've always said in the past that kind of sucks about having a lot of this stuff. I'd like to wear these more often, but it's just not going to happen because there's only so many days to work with. I only got so many feet to work with this way. So this box and the next box, which you can't quite see, are basically the same, right? This one, Fila Grant Hill 2 in the Semi-Pro Flint Tropics colorway, right? It says Semi-Pro back there, Flint Tropics on the side. One of these, I assume, is like the away color, and then the other one is like the home color. That's what would make sense to me. I'm not a big basketball guy or whatever, but I know that much, right? I feel like a lot of people do. So either way, I like the movie a whole lot, saw the shoes, and I thought that's something that I should have. And I gave Reebok, I think, some amount of money, and then they gave me some shoes. And does this say? This does not say. And if you look at this over here, which you can't see from there, I have had these things since October of 2022, and I just got around to wearing them in May of this year. So yeah, I was way behind on the reviews and stuff last year. It's ridiculous. Like, this channel is still recovering, still trying to like climb back into some sort of relevance. Luckily, there have been some Yeezy restocks, and that has helped kind of boost the numbers or whatever, get some attention back over here. Not that the attention matters, but if I'm gonna sit here and do this, it'd be nice if people watched it. But at the same time, I honestly don't care because I have a real job. This is just something I do. And then this is that white pair I was talking about, right? So basically the same sort of thing. The teal is the same, but they switched out the black for white, right? So, and there's some orange on here instead of whatever color. Or maybe that had orange too. I don't know. Who cares? Gotta move on, right? Because I mean, you just saw those basically twice. So how long do you really need to see the second time around? Probably not a lot. And if you do want to see more of it, well, everything here has been reviewed, so you've got that option. And it will be in stunning high definition, right? So there's that. Now, moving on to the second week. See this nice glossy box going on here? Yeah, pretty cool, right? These right here, I saw and I was like, now this, I have very little use for them, but I want them a lot. So I was thinking that they'd be easy to come by, but they sold out pretty fast on the Nike thing. And then they sold out pretty fast in the local Foot Locker too. But obviously, I was there early enough to make this happen. Got a little bit of light shining from these lamps that I have out because I mean it's dark, right? So either way, it's kicking off the 3M, but normally that's a little like dimmer or whatever. I don't know if I can really show you that. Doesn't matter or whatever. But it's the winterized Jordan 8, right? So you can look at it, see it's like a slightly different material, right? Even down to the inside a little bit. You got all this extra fuzzy stuff going on in there. It's like a coat, I assume. I don't really wear coats because I don't have a need for one. But I like stuff like this, going back to that whole winter thing, because when I go back to Iowa over there, then stuff like this can be handy, right? So I buy a fair amount of winter things through the years. Got a nice little collection built up. Ultra Boost, Air Maxes, Jordan shoes. I guess you can count the foam posits in there, right? That's an all-weather sort of deal, at least in my opinion. Moving along, up next we have this. This was something that I thought looked pretty all right and would be worth having. It looks pretty all right, and it is worth having, but it's not my favorite thing to wear. They don't feel super great, but you can probably look at that and tell by this like lacking midsole here. And the upper material isn't anything great. It looks nice, right? It does have a good look to it. I'll give it that, especially if it was fall time or something. But overall, the Adidas Treziad, I like it, you know. In some ways, I do wish I had bought the gray pair too, but I'm not going to lose any amount of sleep over it, right? Because again, how often am I going to wear these? But it's one of those things I was able to wait out. I think this was Hannon, right? Hannon, whoever has ever shopped there, I don't know. But it's one of those places that I go to once in a while because they would have stuff that I want. Like the trainer type shoes over in like those UK type regions, they tend to stick around a little longer. So it's pretty convenient, right? Up next, what is this? Oh, got us a light show pair here. So this one is going to have some 3M and stuff kind of sprinkled on the laces, right? And then there's a little bit on the Adidas, not the Adidas, the Asics thing, I think, right? I can't really remember. What I do remember is being a bit underwhelmed by this shoe. The Kayano 29 is super comfortable, right? That, not a problem. Down here, not a problem. Up here, not super great, right? But the thing is, the standard versions are made of this like normal, not prime knit or fly knit or anything, but their own version of knitted materials, right? That you would put on a standard running shoe, and it's super great, right? This one, it's more in line with like some sort of like nylon, neoprene, whatever going on here, something like a trail shoe or water resistant type of thing. So it's still fine. I can't talk down on it, but you don't get the same experience as if you were wearing a standard Kayano 29. So for that reason, kind of sucks. But I like the colors. I'm a huge fan of black and green, and I like the 3M stuff. So they're fine in that regard. And I think I ended up wearing these to a couple concerts over the month, right? Forget who I saw, but I guess Sum 41, I saw them last month, right? Sales, no, that was this week. Somebody else, I can't remember who all else it was, but it was a busy week for busy month for concerts. Moving along, this right here is the Nimbus 25. I don't like the way this thing looks, not at all. I'm a huge fan of the color, which is why I bought it. And, you know, so I could test it out, see how it works out and stuff, because I spoke not so greatly of the past Nimbuses. Nimbi? I don't know. And this one, same thing. You know, I didn't expect great things, and I didn't get great things. Now, that's just my preference, right? All running shoes have a target audience. This one for certain people, Kayano's for certain people, right? Even the, what's that thing? The Cumulus for certain people. This one, it's just not for me, right? I'm a Nimbus guy. It's super comfortable, right? I can't talk down on it. Very squishy, and that's kind of where it somewhat loses me. I like a little bit more stability under the feet, you know? So there is that. But cool color. I like that inside design that they did on the sock liner. I think I talked about it in the review. So I'm not saying don't buy a Nimbus, right? Definitely try the Nimbus and try the Kayano if you're looking for a cheap running shoe where you have like a variety of colors to choose from. Try both of them, see which one feels right for you, and then do that, right? Because also Asics, which is, I like their running shoes a lot. If you go to their webpage and you click on their like pronation guide or whatever, it'll like ask you like how you run, how you place your feet, all that stuff, and then it will like suggest what you should do. So you could also do that. But if there's an outlet near you, go ahead, take the trip. It's good to get out of the house or apartment or wherever you live. Maybe some Gilligan's Island style hut. I don't know what your life is like. This right here, this is the New Balance 2002R from the hiking pack in the Calm Talk colorway. So this one, it's a trail shoe. It's also a mouthful, but I do like it. It doesn't really seem very trail shoey, It doesn't seem all rugged and stuff. You'll see one soon, I think. Yeah, there's a trail shoe over there. So you'll see another one in a little bit here. But this, it just seems like it's like too nice for that. You know what I'm saying? The material choices are good for that, at least down here. But some of this like nice suede that they have up here, it just kind of makes it an odd choice, right? Then it gives it like these boot style lacing things going on, which is something. So all in all, I really like these a lot. Like I can't complain about them, not in any way. I like the color, they feel really good, all that stuff. They just seem like an odd choice to be billed as a trail shoe. So that's not a complaint. It's just like, I wonder what happened there. Week number 3, right? Yeah, let's kick these things a little farther over, right? So this, anybody recognize these boxes? Maybe you do. It's a Huarache box, right? These were all the rage a couple years ago because they were remaking all those Huaraches and stuff, and I bought a lot of them. A lot more than I should have, for sure. But yeah, I like Huaraches, So I was just like, once you buy the first one, then you're just like buying all of them. Next thing you know, they're just coming in left and right. I don't remember any of the colorway names. You just know you got a whole lot of new shoes to talk about. So this right here, this is the Hyper Grape colorway. I was not going to buy this. I saw it. I thought that's a cool color. But then old Kyle Martin jumped in and was like, hey, Seinfeld wore those on the Subway episode. And I was like, well, I'm a big Seinfeld fan, so I'm getting these. And that's what happened, right? And then I sent him a nice little thank you later, which he used to buy some Big Bubble Air Max 1s. So either way, back to these, right? Yeah, I like the Huarache a lot. A lot of people seem to, it's been around since, 90, maybe 91? I don't know, somewhere around then. It seems to be doing all right over the years. They don't make them regularly. Like, you don't see them popping up, like, left and right, week to week or whatever. But they still come out of the woodwork once in a while. So I would suggest checking out a pair if it's a look that you can get into. They're super comfortable, right? Sizing is a little weird in ways because they have that whole inner booty thing going on, right? So it's kind of like a Jordan 8 or Jordan 7. It kind of takes away from the overall amount of room inside there. I go true to size and it works out fine for me. A lot of people don't, and I get it, right? Different feet sizes, different preferences for how your shoes fit. It's a whole thing. But the thing to do would be to try them on, because even though they're not crazily available, in colorways, that is, I think I still see them in stores. You know what I'm saying? Just not a lot of options. So go ahead, try one out. And then if you see a color later that you like, you'll know what size you should get. This one right here is a Nike Air Foamposite 1 in the red metallic colorway, which came out, I believe, 2017. It didn't quite work out for me for whatever reason, but I'd moved on. And then here we are a few years later, 7 years later. Or was this a last year release? I don't even know. Whatever. Either way, I have them now, and that's pretty all right. I like the way they look. The red is really cool, right? So there's that. I also am a big fan of the Foamposites. It doesn't really show because they don't make a whole lot of them. But I am actually recording a Foamposite review after this, so there is that. And actually, I could not find these things earlier. Everything was all laid out like it was supposed to be, but except for this, and those Jordan 8s. But then, the Jordan 8s, I kind of just forgot that I needed. So I went and grabbed those. And then these were nearby. So I guess maybe I put stuff that I knew I was going to need later, together, instead of putting these with the rest of the Foamposites, which is not the way to do things. I mean, it makes sense, right? But, in that moment, it was not a good idea because I was just looking at all these shoe boxes and stuff, and a lot of black boxes. They all look the same. I'm going through them, reading things. I'm like, man, where are these Foamposites? I was gonna skip over that section and just talk about them, but now I get to show them. One thing that I do like to show is these right here. Luckily, I just narrowly avoided a catastrophe. Spilled some sort of bleach type cleaner stuff on the top of the box. I'm a big fan of like leaving the shoes on the box, like while I'm doing review things and stuff, and until it's like actually done, on feet, recorded, and all that, I don't put them back in. But luckily, these just so happen to not be on the box, because otherwise it would have been a sad day. Hello to you too, Shark Zoo. So this right here is the Asics Gel NYC in some kind of colorway. Who knows what it is? Some kind of green is in there, right? Got a little orange. I like this color a whole lot. I like these shoes a whole lot, honestly. Originally, I thought they were just going to be some kind of like a collaboration type thing, because the first one I saw had somebody's name attached to it, and I was like, oh, maybe that's a person from New York, and this is why they call it the NYC. So I just didn't think much of it, because I just moved on. But then I saw them coming out in regular colors and regular releases and stuff, and I was like, oh, well, these do look pretty cool. So if I see a color I like, maybe I'll check it out. And this color came along, and I was like, okay, I'm going to pick these up, and I'm going to talk about them, tell the whole world what I think. And then I told the whole world that they're pretty all right. I'm telling you again, world, they're pretty all right. Very comfortable down here. Got the Ortholite insoles and stuff. Super light and breathable in the upper piece. Very cool. So color selection, I don't know what it's like, honestly. I've seen a lot over the last year, but right now I don't know what it's like, because I feel like I got in at the tail end of their lifespan or something. But I'm going to keep these over here because I need to use them in a minute. So yeah, Gel NYC, definitely go check them out, because it's pretty decent price point. Asics is pretty big on sales. So yeah, it would be cool if you got to see your entire collection. I'm sure that would be cool. It's not happening because that's time consuming. I did collection videos in the past, many of them actually. The watch numbers, not great, not worth the time. So there you go, there's that. But do with that what you will. I'm sure it could be cool for you or whatever, but you could also just scroll through the playlists of different things. They're all broken up. Nike reviews, Adidas reviews, Vans reviews, other brand reviews, Foamposite videos, Yeezy videos. Lots of playlists going on over here, because I like people to be able to get to what they want. Not everybody cares about Asics. Some people only care about the Yeezys. Make it easy for them, get in, get out. This right here, Asics Gel Kayano 14 with the Ice Studios colorway, right? It's a collaboration deal, so that's what's going on here. Looks pretty cool, right? In more ways than one, every sense of the word, actually. But here's the thing. These materials are a little non-standard from your usual Kayano 14, right? They're still comfortable, but they are a little heavier with all the leather and stuff. The other one had like suede or mesh or something. I forget exactly. But it was a little bit different. Still nice, just saying. It wasn't exactly what I expected. But they did give me these extra laces in here to make up for my trouble. So there was that. So yeah, it's a pretty cool shoe. I do like the Kayano 14 a lot, though. I only have 2 pair, because I kind of feel like that's all I need. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to do get stuff for the reviews or whatever, but once I get the stuff, it's still here, right? So that's why I kind of have to be a little selective. Back in the olden days, I was just buying stuff all the time. Nowadays, not quite. So let's go ahead and move along. But yeah, the Kayano 14, they release those fairly regularly. At least I've seen a colorway every month almost. And they're all really nice too. This right here is a newer one for me. I like your honesty. That is the only thing that I really have to offer this world. You know what I'm saying? Because I could sit here and lie to you about some stuff, but then it doesn't play out well for either of us now, does it? So this right here is the Saucony ProGrid Omni 9. Yeah. And the cream colorway, clay cream, I think that's what they called it. So I saw this and I thought, well, that could be something to talk about, right? It looks pretty nice. Kind of reminds me of these right here, which I didn't quite put away just yet. The Gel NYC. And I almost didn't get them because I was like, mate, is this the same color? But then I did, because I was like, screw it. Let's get them anyway. Who cares, right? It wouldn't be the first time I bought the same color of multiple things. So I got them. And these right here, I'm not going to say they're bad, but they're not as comfortable as these. They are not, right? It's a whole different midsole thing. It's good, right? I could spend all day walking around in these, going to the mall, the amusement park, maybe some kind of festival or something. If I was going to be on my feet all day, I wouldn't complain about wearing these. I just would probably lean towards something else. So they're not bad, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, every now and then, some other thing is better. That just means that, hey, it just won in this situation. There are a lot of things that I would still pick these over, like your standard Vans shoe, definitely, right? But I just want to put that out there and let you know how they feel for me, right? Because in the videos, I was only able to say so much, but having worn them a little bit more, now I can add to that. Let's keep things going. What is this? Week number 4, I suppose. Simple math, right? If that one's the last one, it's got to be number 5. This is the second to last, so it's got to be number 4, right? Unless they change how numbers work. This, where did this come from? Oh, also Hanan or Hanan. I'm not really sure how that's pronounced, but whatever. This is the Adidas ZX 5K Boost in the beam green and gray colorway, with a little bit of purple on there too. So there's that. I like these a lot, right? They're super heavy, which I'm not a fan of, but the look of them is kind of cool. Comfort wise, really nice. It reminds me of like the Yeezy 350s. You can kind of tell with all that boost going on down in there. Very similar build, right? But again, they're super top heavy. So there's that piece of it, which isn't super great. But all in all, it's a very nice shoe. I had bought a pair before, and I liked them a lot. Thought, well, I'll pick up another pair. You know, do a fresh review. But then when I got this one, the materials were all different than the previous one, right? You got to be careful of that. I say it all the time about Air Max Pluses. So I was like, well, that's a wrench in the game plan here, but whatever. Still doing the review. And then I'll just let people know, be careful of the material thing, because what you see on one may not be the same on another. So it's a good thing to keep an eye out for, especially in the Air Max world, right? I see all kinds of Air Max 1s that are like leather, and then there's mesh, and then there's maybe some corduroy once in a while, or whatever they're doing. There's a lot of stuff going on in those, man. So it's good to just kind of look a little closer at those pictures, know what you're really getting into. This right here is the one Yeezy 350 that's in this little monthly lineup for May. So yeah, crazy, right? And you know, if you're wondering like how many more new shoes I have to get through, I likely could have done June. I feel like fairly easily, right? Because I could think of a lot of stuff that I've picked up, especially like things I've got in May or recently. But even like older things that I just forget that I have, like I have a pair of wool Jordan 12s, right? I don't think I've ever worn those. I don't even know why I bought those. The blue suede ones, haven't worn those either, right? Got a handful of 350s in there that have yet to be touched. Whatever. This right here, MX Dark Salt, right? MX Dark Salt. I think that's what this was called. Yeezy 350, obviously, right? This was back when they were bringing out their last run of 350s. Things weren't really selling so great. I saw this one. I was like, oh man, that one looks pretty cool. I'm going to have to see if I can pull that off, right? And I did. And then I saw it in Finish Line before my pair had arrived. And I was like, I don't like these as much as I thought I would. I don't know what it is, but just pictures, even my pictures, when I was editing the video, I was like, these look better on this video, but I own these. This is my shoe, and I don't like it that much. So I don't know what was going on with that. It was quite perplexing, actually. But yeah, so there's that. And it came with this thing reminding you of how Adidas likes Jewish people, or at least doesn't hate them. Not sure, you know, which way you want to lean on that, but they're cool with the Jewish people, which is good, right? I got no problem with them myself, right? Seinfeld is one of my favorite people. He's Jewish. My Uncle John Stewart, yeah, he's Jewish too, I believe. So this right here is that trail shoe I was talking about. So we're going to go ahead and bring this guy back out. So this right here was a trail shoe as well, but from New Balance 2002R. This being the Nova Blast 3. One thing, let's push these laces out of the way. I don't like how that was mildly distracting me. So this one, you know, you got like a different outsole down there. They're not always labeled, like when it comes to like the ASICS shoes, but they have different types of outsoles they put on stuff, right? So they'll be extra durable, even though they might look similar to a standard Nova Blast or something. So you got that, and then like, you know, the upper material I believe was somewhat the same, and then something might have been different in the tongue area. I can't really recall, but this looks like it's made just to be on trails, right? It just has that vibe to it. This one, maybe like a walk through a park or something. I don't know, a little bit different. At least that's how I took it, right? Obviously, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm just going to wear whatever, wherever for the most part. Though I will say this, certain trail shoes, I do not like wearing outside of trails, right? What is that thing called? The Adidas Terex 2 Ultra. not something I like wearing unless I'm actually on trail. So they're all like rigid on the bottom, like cleat style, got all these like high bits in there to like, it's good for like rocks and stuff, but it's awful for just walking on carpet because it feels weird. So I wear them to work, like if I'm going to a trail after work, and it just feels like something that I don't want to wear. It's not bad. It's just, it takes a little getting used to, I guess, but I'd rather just not do it. This right here, kind of don't like wearing these either. The Jordan 5, right? It's one of my favorite Jordans in the top three, the 5, the 7, and the 12. Not in that order. But the thing is, everything about them goes against everything I like. They're all extra big, they're super heavy, they're high top shoes. Yeah, a lot of stuff about these just goes against my normal principles, but for some reason, I like the 5 a lot. And I wore these the other day, obviously, because that's why they're here. And I was like, man, I want to take these off, like right now. But as I toughed it out through the whole day, luckily I'm a computer guy. That's what pays the bills around here. So I can be seated, right? I don't have to be on my feet if I don't want to. Though, honestly, I do stand a lot at work because it's just a thing I do. But that was probably a sitting day, right? Let's kick these over just a wee bit. Got some more shoes to get through. Got 4 more. Bear with me, people. We are almost through this. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit more than the normal 10 minutes on this particular live. But this is the last stack, right? We're on week number 5, and then we can part ways, right? So this right here, these things are really nice. This is the Vans Ultra Range VR3. I did a review of the Ultra Range EXO or XO. I'm not sure if you're supposed to say that word or spell it out. But these are very much the same, but they have a lighter upper, right? So it's almost like I don't know, there was like certain Ultra Boosts that this kind of reminded me of like the earlier ones, because like, you see like, you got a lot of breathability in here. See all the like the holes and stuff on the side, right? So they got that whole thing going for them, which is very cool, even down to like the tongue, right? So if you're wearing these on a summer day, they're super light, right? And like the midsole that they have down here and the outsole, like very comfortable. It's like one of the most comfortable things that I've worn in a long time. They even have a cork insole in there, which I'm a huge fan of, Eco Cush, right? So there's that. So this right here it's one of my favorite shoes. Like it really is as far as models go. I mean, I'm not going to run out and buy a whole lot of them, but this is one that I would suggest to mostly anybody, honestly. I think the color selection is even pretty good. So they have other various versions of the Vans Ultra Range nowadays or whatever. So you can go ahead and check out the other ones. Go over to their site or whatever. But of the 2 pair that I have, I like them a lot. And I bought my dad a pair. I forget which version he got. And those are pretty good too. I'd have to check my archives and see what that one was, which is a fancy way of saying I just go into like the YouTube studio and type in Vans and see what comes up. So this, here we go. This I remember quite well. This last week isn't quite in order because box stacking wise, it was easier to put the Vans on top, but the Vans were actually the last thing of the month. In case you were curious about that little detail. Because the week actually started with this right here. This is the Cherry 12, which I've said a time and a half before. Actually, I've said it like 8 times probably. Not a fan. Oh, look, and then there's Matt. Haven't seen you in a while. What's going on, man? But yeah, I don't really hang out in a lot of lives anymore. I'm just not busy. I just don't. I don't know. I just kind of don't. No real excuse for it. But hope you're doing well, man. So the Cherry 12. Not a huge fan of it, right? I get it, right? Someone said something in the comment the other day, oh, blah, 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 yeah, classic colorways, something. And I was like, I don't care about your classic colorways, man. I didn't say it exactly like that, but that was probably how it came off, because that's how I felt, right? Because I don't care about the classic colorways. If you watch one of those little podcast things I put up a while ago, they mean nothing to me. If it looks good, it looks good. If it looks like trash, it looks like trash. These, I just can't get behind it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the worst 12 I've ever seen, but it's just not great, right? Why did I get it? Well, I buy all the 12s that I can get, right? Because I do like the 12s a lot. And I kind of just hoped that maybe once I saw it in person, it would look better. Kind of like what was that pair over there? The Taxi Flip colorway. Didn't think much of that when I first saw it, but then I got it. I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty nice. I saw it in person then, and I was like, well, I was right. And I think if anything, I might like these less now. Not that I like them to begin with. Moving along, let's keep things on a more positive note, right? Try not to be super negative. This right here is an Air Max Plus. Huge fan of the Air Max Plus. Not quite the standard material like you might expect, though. I was kind of mentioning this earlier with those the ZX5K boosts. So one of the reasons for the different material up here, it's a 3M upper, right? So you got that whole thing going on. So you don't have like the normal plastic ridges and like the nylon, neoprene or whatever between there. And I think something might have been weird about how they felt too. That it was still fine, true to size, but I feel like something about the materials made them a little bit weird. If you go back to that video, the review I did, there's a pinned comment in there that I think kind of like talks about it as well. So maybe see what that said, because I honestly cannot remember. Which is why when people like say things, like ask me stuff about like certain shoes, it's like, dude, like if I didn't say it in the review, it might just be lost forever in my mind until I wear it again, which who knows when that'll be, right? So that's why I try to say everything that I can in those videos, which is why they get a little bit long and rambly at certain points. But it's just because like if I don't get this out now, I'm never getting it out. And not ending the month, but moving on with the month and the last shoe I'll be talking about today, the Air Max DN in the all-night colorway. Actually, we are not done. Oh, there they are. I was about to say we're not done with the stuff in the box, but here we go. Came with a pair of black 3M laces and a pair of standard pink laces, both of which are better than these laces that are in here by default. However, as I've gone on the record for saying many times, anytime I've come across a pair of shoes with extra laces, I'm a lazy man. I'm a very lazy man when it comes to doing the lacing. So I just keep whatever's in there. But I will say, I had this Fraggle Rock shirt on this day, right, by Roosevelt, same brand that made this here Gotham graffiti shirt. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a lot of just Gotham stuff in there. You got like the Riddler, the Joker, Batman, little Harley Quinn action. So yeah, there he is right there, Riddler. But yeah, so I had this Fraggle Rock shirt on, and I was like, man, like this color would really work so much better because the shirt was this color. But I'm just so not doing this, and I just went with these. But it was fine. Like this color matched up well enough, so I was like, whatever. I don't need to stand out. If anything, I'd rather not. But either way, the Air Max DN. Speaking on that, very nice. They have a whole bunch of colors now, which is cool because sometimes Nike will put something out there that's pretty nice, and then they'll just give you like two colors, and like they're both like kind of booty. And so then you're like, well, maybe I guess I'll just get the least booty one, So there's that. So you're not even excited about it. You're just like, this should be cool, right? That's how the genome days worked, right? But this time around, they brought out so many, and I was like, well, now I don't know what to do, right? Because like there are other ones that I would like to get and talk about, share with the world or whatever that maybe not everybody knows. But again, then I'm just gonna end up with like a bunch of pairs of these. And I do occasionally send my brother shoes because we wear the same size, but he doesn't have a whole lot of space. I'm not trying to like overflow his home with like shoes and stuff, right? He probably wouldn't care, but trust me, it gets annoying. So there we go. We've done it, people. Well, I've done it. For you, those of you who sat through this whole thing, I guess you can take some credit too. So that's for you guys that actually sat through this whole nonsense. So here's the thing. I'm going to close this video out because that's the thing that I do when I'm done. If you have questions or comments or concerns, go ahead and put those in the comments section. I'll address them after this. If I don't see anything, that just means I leave. If I see stuff, I talk a little bit longer until I've talked about everything that's in the comments thing. So from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. After this, I'm going to be recording a review about some Roosevelt shirts, then a pair of, a Foam Positive 1 and a Penny 2, right? That's what my evening is looking like. I should be watching some AEW Dynamite right about now. But, and I got to record a little clip of me talking about some movie called A Violent Nature. Yeah, saw that today. It's fine. Not amazing, but it's okay. That's the short version. For you, you guys get that ahead of everybody else. So feel lucky or feel special. Maybe not necessarily lucky. So there we go. And I don't see anything in the comments thing, which means I'm done. So thanks again to the people who showed up. I appreciate you guys stopping in and using this to listen to or whatever. I hated it. Yeah, I totally get that. Like it was super slow, like crazy slow. Like, but again, it's like it's this dude who's like a killer guy, and like that's all he does. So he just doesn't really have much else of a life to show. He's just like he goes and kills somebody, then you see him like walking, and then he's like going over here. It's like kind of weird, you know what I'm saying? But no, I assumed you were talking about the movie. But yeah, it was. I didn't hate it, but I had just watched a really bad movie a couple days ago, so this was like a step up. What was that? What did I see last? Hmm. What was it? And now I can't even remember. I put up a little video talking about it and stuff, and I remember fairly clearly talking about various other things unrelated to it. But now the name of the whatever the movie was, I can't recall, not even a little bit. But whatever. It was something that I knew probably wouldn't be super good, and then it wasn't super good. So I don't know. It's the last review in the At the Drive-In playlist, which is actually named after a band because, you know, I name a lot of stuff after music related things. First 15 minutes, almost walked out. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, it was, again, I was okay with it because it was better than the last thing that I saw, but I can't speak highly of it. That's why I say it was okay. It's like a thing you put on and just kind of, luckily it was only an hour and a half, right? You know, but now that I'm thinking about it, like that last like 10, 15 minutes, like in the car, what was that? Right? Like, who needed that? Nobody. Nobody needed that. So I was just looking at that like, wait, is something gonna happen here? And then what happened? Nothing. Credits. Not to spoil it, but I guess it's a little too late for that. Then again, if you like listen to what we just said right here, and you were like still gonna see it, maybe you deserve to have it spoiled. I don't know. But now I'm curious what that movie was. Oh, The Watchers. Yeah, The Watchers. Oh, that was just, oh, it was not good. Like I know I already said that, but man, it looked like it wouldn't be like great, and then it was kind of terrible. And I'm like, hmm. Luckily, I have that AMC Stubs pass, so it's like $26 a month, and you can just see like all the movies you want. Well, 3 a week, but that ends up being a lot. Oh man. But the next movie I see, which is Monday, I think, Inside Out 2. I have high hopes for that. I'm feeling like it should be okay. I liked the first one, right? So this, I think that's the next one, right? Inside Out 2. I have something else on my list of things to watch, like as far as reserved movie tickets. I just can't remember what it was. Oh, Twisters, but that's after that, and then Deadpool and Wolverine, but that's like later too. So yeah, it looks like a bit of a drought going on over here in the movie world. But yeah, whatever. That was bad. The walk across, dude. That, you know what? When I saw that, like, I'm like, okay, wait, hold on a second. I feel like this dude can't swim, right? Like, especially not the way he's like dressed. And he just like walks into this lake because he sees this girl on the other side, and he got there pretty quick too, you know. And then just like gets her, and I'm like, and how's he sneaking up on everybody? He's like, they're all sitting in the forest, like just talking to each other, and he's like, nobody heard that? All these like rustling in the bushes, all this like stomping on the ground. The chains that are old and rusty have to be making some amount of noise, right? So the whole thing was just super weird. And then he's like killing people in like the strangest of ways, you know? It was, oh my goodness. It was so weird, right? But it gave me something to do. So there's that. Was it something great to do with my time? Not really, but again, I got this movie pass thing. I've wasted so many hours of my life watching bad movies lately. I used to just like watch a select few. Now I'm just in there all the time. Speaking of, it's for rent on Amazon. I don't know where else, but there's this movie called Lamb, right? Like Lamb, Lamb. You should watch that and let me know how that works out for you because it's freaking ridiculous. But I rented it, right? And Amazon, like the way they do it, they give you 48 hours to watch the movie, right? You have 30 days to start the movie, but then you have 48 hours from the time you start it to like watch it, to finish it. So for me, like if I rent a movie through there, I feel like I need to watch it as many times as possible to get my $4 worth, right? I know that sounds cheap, but you know, save money where you can. The more you watch it, it's like the less you paid, right? So I was watching this movie the first time, I'm like, this is this is something special right here. And then I just like kept watching it. Like I'd put it on repeat, you know, like, well, wake up in the morning, like, I put this on while I get ready for work, come home after work, I'm gonna put this on while I'm getting ready to go to bed. And yeah, every time I would like catch something new in it. It's one of those types of things, you know? So yeah, it was $4 well spent. It's not a good movie. It's not like something you're gonna be like, oh my God, wow, this was crazy, amazing. It's not that, but like it's the kind of thing you watch and then you tell other people, like, dude, you gotta watch this, right? So that's what I'm saying, dude, you gotta watch this. What else are we doing? What else is in here? Same with, okay, the kill scene saved it. Some stuff I've never seen. Oh yeah, Lamb. I'm gonna check it as you should. Are your shoes authentic? What are you, some kind of idiot? Like, who are you? So either way, oh, your answer is somewhere in there. Read between the lines. But either way, here's the thing. I think we've reached the end, right? Ezra was good. Not sure if you've seen it. I have not. I don't even know if I know what that is. But I'll have to look it up after this because, I've got like all these movie services, right? Because like they keep nickel and diming you. Apparently, I have a Star subscription. I realized that last night. I was like, wait a second. I still have this? I thought I just did the trial. Who knows how long I've been paying for that? So I think if there's any sort of movie service out there with whatever Ezra is, I'm a new subscriber. Oh, well, great. Look forward to hearing more from you. So here's the thing. I have all these movie subscriptions, right? And I'm just like, I could watch probably everything that's out there. So this Ezra thing, if it's on one of the things, I'll find it, I'll check it out. If it looks like it's something that I'm into, one thing that I don't really do, not a big sci-fi guy, right? So if Thor wasn't a Marvel thing, wouldn't watch it. Space stuff, I don't know, I just can't get into it. But yeah, so like I said, I got some other reviews I need to record after this, right? And I actually need to see how some of these shoes fit before I do Thursday reviews. So got to go knock out some of that. Thanks again. It was nice chatting with you guys and stuff about the movies and whatnot, which was really only Matt, but other people seemed like they were listening to this too, I guess. So there's that too. But I'm going to move on and knock that stuff out. Thanks for showing up and whatnot. I usually don't expect anybody to watch these lives, which is why I just kind of power through them. But every now and then people actually show up, probably because it lasted longer than 5 minutes. People actually had time to watch it. That could be a factor too. Thanks again. I do mean that. Later, people. Gonna hit this end button there.